Welcome, welcome, ladies. I know you surprised to see me premiering. But you know who you can thank for this? Your local divested mammy. You know, the one that hangs around and everything is all good until we say something that hits home and then she tells Facebook that you're bullying her. Yeah, we're gonna be here for a couple days. It's all good though. I love you too. So for the next couple days, we'll be on Patreon. I need to pay my patrons a little bit more attention anyway. And sorry, you guys, that aren't causing trouble because homegirl took away your access to your daily dose of the zealot. But it's all good. Let's talk about how they are the same though. Mammies and Dusties. One just has a coochie. Let's look at some examples real quick. You see, the reason you have a problem with a divestment camp is because you see a lot of yourself in your son. You cause just as much problems as he does, as the Dusties in your community does. You're looking back at a reflection, and that's why you hate other sisters so much. Okay? The reason you don't want us to dislike Dusty so much is because when you open up your ass crack, that's exactly what falls out. Him. You have a problem with that because he's an extension of you. I get it. But you're not going to mess with us. You're not going to do it. I will drag you by your box perm and your Gorilla Glue. Your mammy ass hates us and anybody else that talks down to your Dusties because he's you. You don't like politicians that talk down on your Dusties. As a matter of fact, let's talk about that Joe Biden crime bill. What he said about your sons were exactly correct. They're predators. You clown. And sometimes you're his victim. But let's look at President Joe real quick. See what he said about your son.
Let me set the record straight on this bill. The underlying bill, which is now the Biden-Hatch bill, was the Biden bill. A guy named Biden wrote that bill, and he wrote that bill by going down and sitting down with the President of the United States of America, not with his Attorney General, not with anyone else, with Bill Clinton, President of the United States of America. So when I said, where are we going to get the money? He said, well, all I know is I want 100,000 cops. I made that commitment. He had endorsed the Biden crime bill as a candidate when he ran. Some of the old Democrats and former presidents who were Democrats before Carter, I suspect. I don't know who we're talking about here. But in the old days, it is true. When Richard Nixon was running for president, Richard Nixon used to talk about law and order, and the Democratic response was law and order with justice, whatever either one of those meant. I never knew. I was running then in 1972. He knows there are two basic steps here. One step is you must take back the streets. And you take back the streets by more cops, more prisons, more physical protection for the people. The truth is, every major crime bill since 1976 that's come out of this Congress, every minor crime bill has had the name of the Democratic senator from the state of Delaware, Joe Biden, on that bill. The consensus is A, we must take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask, what made them do this? They must be taken off the street. That's number one. There's a second thing that we all have agreed upon, and that is unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. If if we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society. You're looking at the fellow who was one of the primary architects of the Sentencing Commission. You know what the basic premise of the Sentencing Commission is? I know the presiding officer knows. It was the first time in 80 years we rejected the notion that the condition of sentencing must be related to how long it would take to rehabilitate. I'm the guy that said rehabilitation, when it occurs, we don't understand it and notice it. And even when we notice it and we know it occurs, we don't know why. So you cannot make rehabilitation a condition for release. That's a Democratic senator from Delaware. And
It's almost like Zaddy Joe. Yes, Zaddy Joe had a crystal ball looking at your sons. And I wonder, how did he know that they were going to be like that years later? Probably because they were like that when he was saying it. And 30 years before that, they were exactly that way. And the thing is, you heifer, you're just like him. That's why you can't let go. And speaking of Zaddy Joe, one day you guys hate him because he's quote unquote racist and because of that crime bill. And then the next day I look online and you waiting for your direct deposit from that same Zaddy. Make up your mind. You guys are awful when it comes to self-accountability for you and that wretched son of yours. And I understand not wanting to admit it, because what you'd have to admit is that when you lay down and go into labor, you throw your legs open, this animal is what crawls out. And it crawls out and it terrorizes everybody. You know this, but the problem isn't him. According to you, it's us for saying it. That's the thing with Blackistan. You can't call a thing a thing. Everything that's horrible about Blackistan usually comes from your son. That's just a fact. There is no debating that. What makes a neighborhood dangerous? Is it pregnant women sitting in the bushes waiting to cut throats? No. When a neighborhood is dangerous, it's because of Tyrone. Your Tyrone. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for continuing to birth them. Hey, let me ask you this, mammies. Is it that you think your particular son is different? Because everywhere I look, I see you complaining about other women's sons, other sisters' sons. But for some reason, your son, he can't be an asshole. He can't be a Dusty. Where does the logic come from? You don't mind calling other women's sons Dusty because he screwed you over. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead and admit it. I think that because you picked a Dusty to father your son, you don't think everybody else or anybody else should have the opportunities that you didn't have or denied yourself. Because I'm sure you've heard other women complaining about how these monsters are, but you picked one anyway. Now you got your own little monster and you want somebody else's daughter to pick your monster. You want to pawn your mini Dusty on somebody else's daughter, knowing for a fact that he's just like his father, his absentee father at that. So you want someone else's daughter to experience hell on earth like you did because she ain't no better than you. You mammies are vindictive, you're evil, you're jealous, and it's horrible. I remember there was a time when I used to feel sorry for you mammies. I really did. Truly. But boy, was I wrong. Totally wrong. I actually thought you guys were doing the best you could and that your Dusties just weren't cooperating. But come to find out, you're the actual handmaiden of the Dusties. They couldn't get half the terror that they get done without your help. You defend them at every mark. Why? For the sake of feeling like I'm repeating myself, is because you are them and they are you. Hey mammies, but you better check out something real quick. As time goes on, less and less people feel sorry for that same story y'all keep singing about being impoverished, being oppressed, being all these things that really aren't true. Society is tired of hearing that story. It's old, it's played. At some point, you're just going to have to admit that trash is trash. Oh, and this is not a roast. It's not a roast at all. It's a truth flambe. I want you to get in the comment section after this video, during this video, or whenever, and tell me at the minute mark where I lied on any of them. I haven't. The truth is stranger than fiction, to be quite honest with you. On every single measurable mark, everything men are measured by, your sons come in dead last. Income level, dead last. Graduation rates, dead last. Siring children in wedlock, dead last. Employment rates, dead last. Business creation, dead last. We can go on and on and on. You guys are worthless, and so are your sons. And I know you're sitting there thinking, my son does come in first in some things. Well, he surely does. He comes in first in domestic violence rates against the women in his community, street crime rates, STD rates, you name it. He's number one. If there's some terror to be implemented on the community, your son is dead first there. So at least you have that to be proud of, huh? Every city where we can find a decent number of your sons, the place is a nightmare to live. Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, anywhere where they gather seems like a wasteland. So congratulations on that. I think your son is fully flambéed. Let me go ahead and get into your mates, your baby daddies. They say when you have an issue with a household, you're supposed to talk to the head of household. And since you mammies are the man of the house, I'm talking to you. Why is your household so out of whack? Why isn't your princess/baby daddy behaving? Why can't you keep your dog on a leash? Huh? We're very tired of seeing him. Can you gather your princess, please? For the next couple of weeks, I expect for your princess/your baby daddy/your Dusty to be behaving. Haven't you given him your money so that he can flip it into something awesome like he does every year? Every single year he's flipping that tax return, and this year was very, very good to your Dusty. So why isn't he behaving? Go in there and tell him to calm down, please. And this is to the mammies that actually survived, because from what I'm seeing, your Dusties are setting you on fire for your money, killing children and your family members for your money. Your Dusties are out of control. And since you're going to sit here and defend them, we, the rest of the public, fully expect for you to control your animal. There is a Dusty leash law. Put your dog on a leash, babe. You even got Dusties, your Dusties, online talking about how they're planning on pimping you for your share of the Goldman Sachs money. Did you hear what I said? They're making public posts about how they're going to have you apply for some money for Zaddy so that he can build his kingdom on your dime. That's pimping by another name, but pimping nonetheless. Oh, you don't think so? Am I being extreme again? Well, what is a pimp? A pimp is usually a dusty that sends women out to do the dirty work, the nasty work, the sexual work, the footwork, to bring in income, to give directly to him so that he can divvy it up how he sees fit. That is pimping, if I've ever heard of anything being pimping. And mammy, deep down inside, you know that's pimping, but you're gonna go along with it. You always do. You'll do what pimps call cooperate. Okay? You'll go to that system that you claim is so against him to give him money from another group of men that actually did show up for their women. It's an odd dynamic. You call it building, but really it's pimping, and you know that. Mammies, can you keep it real with me for a second? Do you think for one hot minute that if Goldman Sachs had set aside $10 billion for black men, that they would actually bring it to you so that you can have input? Listen, I can't even ask this question because it's funny even verbalizing something as ridiculous. The answer is no. They would not bring that money to you, girl. Not only would he not give you money from the Goldman Sachs. See, every time I even mention a Dusty giving a mammy money, it's pure comedy. I can't even say it without laughing. But not only is he would not give you a portion of that money, he doesn't want to give you the money that he owes you for them kids he left you with. The judge ordered him to pay and he still don't want to give you the money. But y'all running over here trying to flip something. Weirdos. But enough about Zaddy's money. Let's talk about your money. You have let these Dusties convince you that a 50-50 relationship is in your benefit. Ma'am, it's not. It can never be 50-50. As long as you're able to get pregnant, you will always be giving more. That's why he should be paying all of the bills. And I mean every last one of them. Every last one of them. All right? But let's just say I'm too old-fashioned. Let's just say that for a second. Mathematically, ma'am, you're putting in more even if you were paying 20% of the bills. Do you know what it's like to take care of those dusty children? It's hard to wrangle in the seed of Satan. That's exactly what they are. Get mad. I want you to get mad. I want you real mad because y'all are out of line. Genetics don't automatically take a back seat because you in love with a Dusty. If your Dusty is Satan, then his seed is the seed of Satan. You know what I'm talking about. Half of those kids are just like their fathers, even though they don't know him. Having to go up to the schools because they don't know how to sit down and behave. Constantly having to reinforce the teacher's lesson. Because what? Because your Dusty passed down his intellectual inadequacies to y'all's Dusty baby. You don't mind saying when your child is tall, like his Dusty father, or short-tempered, like his Dusty father. By default, he can also be a dumbass, like his Dusty father. And I don't care that you get mad. Y'all don't leave children off the table when it comes to interracial, so I won't be either. You should be good and triggered by now, but like I say, you guys, you mammies, I used to feel so sorry for y'all because I could see the pain in your eyes. But 9 times out of 10, you condone this type of BS. You condone this behavior and you give them excuses. So at this point, I have to put y'all on the menu as well. You don't care about other black women. And you want to know how I know you don't care? Because you keep birthing them into communities where other black women live. And then when they get of a certain age, all you care about is their well-being and not your sister's well-being. So for that, ma'am, I consider you an enemy when you're a mammy. It's only right. You are just as dangerous as him, as I said in the beginning. And I don't apologize for it. You have a bird's eye view of what actually goes on in these communities. Yet and still, you stand in front of people outside of the community and blame others. You guys are some of the most victim-blaming idiots I've ever seen in my life. Nothing is ever their fault. And that's why they can't build for you. Because you infantilize them, giving them no accountability, no responsibility. And I don't care at this point. Just can you please leave us alone? Please. And please don't get it twisted. I'm not coming from a point where I'm asking you for anything. I'm giving you a courtesy warning that if you don't put a leash on your dogs, your daddies, your sons, your brothers, your cousins, and whoever else, that I'm going to call the same group of people that you got your direct deposit from this week, and I'm going to have them bring law enforcement. And according to you, that's a death sentence. So do what you have to do. Whatever it is that you have to do to keep your family safe. You're the man of the house, right? Protect, provide, and problem solve like men are supposed to. Since you're in charge, Mule, make sure that they stay far away from us, and also you stay far away from us. Because like I said in the beginning of this premiere, you and him are the same damn thing. You're useless, you're worthless, and I don't have any time for it, to be quite honest. Go. You have enough on your plate. You don't need to worry about us over here. You got to go protect, provide, and problem solve. Dinner is served. I think the flambe went well. Divested ladies, thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or your evening or whatever time you're seeing this. Remember, I won't be on Facebook for a little while, and I'll see you guys on Patreon as per usual. I'll put more stuff over there. So not only will you get our watch party, you'll also get what I normally put on my Facebook page. It'll just be for us until such time I get out of Facebook jail. All right, mammies. You have a good day too. I said what I said, and stay your ass off my page. Talk to you guys later. Love y'all. Bye.